While some of you are enjoying a day off this Labor Day, many of you are not. Instead, you are looking for work. With the unemployment rate at a 26-year high, this day truly has new meaning for people without a job. So when are things going to turn around? Roben Farzad is a senior writer for Business Week. He's joining me from New York this morning to talk a little bit more about it. Roben, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Heidi.
Tell us a little bit more about what makes this recession, this unemployment rate, so vastly different from others that this country has seen.
Well, for starters, you're talking about a rate, at least nominally, we haven't seen since 1983. And who can even remember which songs were at the top of the Billboard charts in '83?
Right, yeah.
10% is a daunting number, but I think the scarier number is the one that's not as reported, is the underemployment rate. People that are either frustrated and that they're forced to take part-time work, and those who have altogether stopped looking for a job. That's closer to 17%. So that is the primary overhang right now. If you're employed, you're not gainfully employed. Yeah. If you're unemployed, it's harder than it is in recent memory to find a job. Yeah,
no question about it. I also like to talk about, and maybe this has changed a little bit since last we spoke about it, but I'm kind of thinking not. Those that are a little bit older and would be considering retirement right now are not retiring. They're staying in the jobs and therefore taking up a certain portion of them that maybe perhaps younger people just entering the job market could be taking. Of course, you've got the experience that sort of differs there, but still, overall, I imagine there are less jobs because of that issue alone.
There are, and there are multiple headwinds if you're approaching retirement right now. The stock market has had its worst decade, I believe, since 1900. Yeah. It's harder than ever to really assume that you're going to have enough to tide you over for your golden years. And on top of that, as you mentioned, if you do have a job, you covet that job. You hang on to it, and you'll have to pry it from somebody's cold, dead hands. And what that ends up doing is backlogging the entire workforce. But, I mean, it's a nice dilemma to have if only we had all of these jobs to backlog. Yeah, unfortunately, there just aren't enough jobs for the number of people who are looking.
All right, so when you look at this problem, and I know you have been for a very long time now, what do you see as something, anything, or maybe a combination of things that could help lift us out?
Well, you have central banks bringing interest rates down to zero. So this is a hyper-stimulative global monetary policy. You have governments the world over throwing hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars at this. You have green jobs planned. You have cash for clunkers. You have these ideas of high-speed rail.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's this idea, it's almost a dream at this point, that we can have green jobs. Just the same way the internet browser came out of left field and .com took us out of the early recession of the 1990s. Maybe another killer app will just, hit us like this asteroid and lift us out of it. But certainly, I mean, there are lots of hopes, lots of expectations, and just the paucity of options. And might I say, I myself feel underemployed. If you have any sort of appetite for a dashing, financially savvy, multicultural journalist, I'm all yours.
Shameless.
You got to do what you got to do, Heidi.
You do. That's right. Okay, Roben, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Heidi.
Roben Farzad, of course, from Business Week. Thank you so much.